Hey folks, Jacob Walton here, and I'm very excited to start this brand new project I'm going to do where we go over audio commentary tracks of all of our episodes. We're going to start today with episode 1, Where is Jigsaw, which is the pilot episode of the show. So if you are new to the page and haven't seen any of our episodes, I recommend that you go ahead and check them out and check our series out. As of the day of this recording is July 1st, 2025. I am currently editing part 2 of our season finale. It had to be delayed, unfortunately, due to personal and circumstances we couldn't control. I believe a tornado that happened in our area back in March. But thankfully, everybody's okay. Everything's okay. It just had to put your production a little bit behind schedule. So part 2 will be delayed. I'm hoping to get it done by the fall of this year. Hopefully get it out this year in time. Still got a few reshoot dates I got set in the books. But for the meantime, in order to play catch-up, we're going to go ahead and look back at all of our episodes this season, as well as check out other Saw fan films in our Saw fan film universe projects and provide commentary with them. Throughout these episodes, you'll have guest commentator tracks. I've talked to a few of our actors from our show, and they're looking forward to coming on board. And today, as I said, we're going to check out the pilot episode. I'm very excited to start that. And if you've been to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Jigsaw Blogs, you got the opportunity to watch this video a week early. So what's going to happen is I'm going to set videos out once a month, and on our Patreon page, exclusive for your Patreon members, you can get full early access to our commentary tracks a week in advance before their initial release date. Having said that, let's get this started. The little beep. So one of the things people popped out was that the beep in the first 5 seconds is really based off a show called the Joker Blogs, which if you get a chance to watch it on YouTube, then you go ahead and go for it. But one thing I always ask some people is like, oh, so you just ripped off the Joker Blogs. No, I really didn't rip off the Joker Blogs. It's more of like an homage to them. Some people want to know the difference between rip off and homage. A rip off means like you take the idea from someone and you don't give them credit, and then it's all yours. An homage is you kind of mimic the style and you kind of pay tribute to it, and you kind of give a little bit of a wink. So yes, the opening intro of the series and kind of the name itself, the Jigsaw Blogs, is kind of an homage to the Joker Blogs, and really Enter the Variants and them do a good job, and Scott McClure for those Joker Blogs. If they ever get a chance to go back and redo the Joker Blogs one more time, I hope they get a chance to. It's a good series. Check it out on YouTube if you haven't got a chance to watch it. But yeah, on to the show. Look in this old room right here. This was actually my old apartment back in 2019 that me and my wife purchased, and we lived there for about 2 years, I want to say. I'm just looking at the background right now. You kind of see my college graduation photo in the background. See a picture of me and my wife. See some baseballs and basketballs. Surge and Crystal Pepsi, yes. Little drinks right there in the background on the top shelf right there. I just kind of smile and look at things like that. But yeah, another thing that people tell me that I kind of made a mistake on is using my real name as the character in the show. And originally, the name of my character was actually going to be James Bell. But the problem there was if you go back to the opening credits scene, it said recorded by Jacob Walton. That was actually going to be like a title card that was going to reference hey, my actual name, give him credit for making these episodes. But then when I realized when I went back to episode 2 or 3 and I looked back on it, I said, oh crap, I did use my real name, didn't I? So when I got to episode 2, it was like, well, should I change it and just redo the pilot episode and reshoot it? Because at the time, I think we had like 50 or 60 views on YouTube at the time. But I said, just keep it as is. Just make myself like in such a character. So basically the Jacob character is kind of somewhat me, just a little dialed up version of me. As you can tell, one of the things I criticize people look at me is, oh man, my voice pitch just gets higher and higher after each take, and I just kind of laugh at that. But yeah, that's just how it kind of started. So unfortunately, it's a little bit of a mix-up, but my character's name was originally going to be James Bell and not Jacob Walton. But essentially, with that little hiccup I had right there, I decided, just go ahead. Let's just keep it, my character, my name. And we try to make my character, Jacob, a history teacher. In real life, I am actually a gym teacher. I've been teaching elementary PE for going on 9 years now, and this will be my 11th year in education. But at the time of filming, this was the pandemic. And this sort of led to one of the reasons why I started the show, because the pandemic started, like, for us in Missouri, it started like in mid-March. Some schools were letting out like in early February or the first week of March. Our school kept going to like the mid-March or towards the end of March, where literally I was coaching track and field, and we had like 2 weeks of track practices going on, and that's when the school decided to shut it down. So essentially when I was going home, and literally during the pandemic, I was just sitting at home. Thankfully I was still getting paid, because even though I'm a teacher, we were still under contract, and I was still getting paid. But, what was I going to do? And so literally after week 4, week 5, I decided, you know what? Never seen anybody tackle like the Saw franchise, because at the time, Spiral was coming out, and we had the first trailer come out, and then they announced that Spiral got delayed due to the pandemic to the following year in 2021. And I thought to myself, because a little fun fact about me, I actually made a Saw fan film way, way, way back in my high school days in 2009, 2010. It will not see the light of day, unfortunately, now, because essentially what I did was I made a film that's literally spoofed Saw 5 and the movie Get Smart with Steve Carell. So basically it was the characters Get Smart and the characters in Saw all in one movie, and I kind of played the version of Hoffman and the main character who kind of plays mixed character of Agent Strom, and the lead character for Get Smart, who played by Steve Carell, Maxwell Smart. Basically, there's no reason for it to see the light of day, because basically all I did was 60% of that movie is Saw 5, and literally I just copied Saw 5 like shot for shot. So that film won't see the light of day, but I had a lot of fun. But during the time of the pandemic, I thought to myself, I'm just sitting at home, I'm getting paid to do nothing. Then I'm excited about the Saw movies, and I'm rewatching them, and I thought to myself, do I want to do this again? And so literally I got the idea of creating this character of Jacob, who is a history teacher, and I thought to myself, okay, what if Saw took place in the real world? And so what I did was, since Spiral hadn't came out yet, I based off the story after the events of the 2017 Jigsaw film, and I put my character Jacob here, who I made him a history teacher, and I asked the question, like, it is like this is going to be a real life situation. How would somebody in the real world, if the world of Saw took place in our real world, how would people react? And that's kind of the situation I did right here. And the whole point of the blog style is, and as you see right here, there was no script. Like, this is just me ad-libbing for 7 minutes right now. This is just me going, I just gave myself bullet points for the story I wanted to tell. And this is just like me going, like, no script. I'm just, rambling and talking, kind of like what I am doing right now with these commentary tracks. And that's just essentially the story I wanted to go and how this idea came about. And this is a school teacher's salary budget, and there's just no way at the time, especially, I could make a Saw trap or like those grimy filters and stuff like that, because, I just couldn't do it. And I just didn't know how, because I wasn't in the industry. So what I did was, I decided, okay, just mimic, like, pay a little homage, as mentioned beginning, to the Joker blogs, and then to put a camera right there and put myself in front of the camera and just essentially tell the audience the stories. And then I asked myself, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, what stories do I want to tell? And I thought, okay, well, let's establish the world that I'm doing right now, because this takes place after the events of the 2017 Jigsaw film. And as it's going, I just thought, okay, well, one thing I want to do is I want to answer questions that the Saw franchise left, because there's so many unanswered questions, like, what happened to this character, what happened to this plot line, what happened after the events of Jigsaw. And so that's essentially what I did right here. And while this is technically not canon, but this is like what I would do with the Saw franchise if I had the reins with its storyline soap opera. Because the beautiful thing about Saw, it is a soap opera driven. And so what I did was, just sitting here on my couch, just telling you a story about my character and what he would react as a history teacher, and then tell the story and make it more me, because I myself grew up a Saw fan. And this time, especially some of the stories you're hearing me tell right here about going on my computer, going to school, going online, that's just me going on the Saw message boards on my computer. And I'll touch more about that story when we get to episode 2. But as you see, I'm watching it right now. We're getting towards the end of the video as I'm literally watching TV. Literally, I am watching the scene where all the video cameras from the 2017 Jigsaw film are shooting. Yeah, that's where Keith's at the grave where he finds Edgar Munson. And I think this is it right here where, yeah, we had cable. I literally picked up the phone. Remote, yeah. I actually got a kick. Some people actually really realize, oh yeah, this is the moment where it takes place during the 2017 Jigsaw film, and I was like, how do we end this thing? It's like, well, let's connect the pieces. Is Jigsaw alive? You'll just have to wait and see and find out if he is. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next episode.